Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Irish Zone. I'm your host, the Noel Zone. I hope you're all doing very well indeed. Some of the counts are still happening, but before we get into all of that and get into what's happened right now in Clonmel, this is something I predicted a couple of weeks ago. Actually, this is something I've been talking about on this channel and on X for the past couple of months. I said that nationalists out there needed to get real and they needed to come up with a viable plan to stop these plantations from happening. But again, after the election result, our dear leader decided that the best thing to do was to call another rally for next month. I mean, it's absolutely pathetic at this stage that these people are clueless and have absolutely no plan. And the elections, by the way, proved that as well. So many nationalist candidates running for so many different parties, them running on their own as well, has absolutely diluted the vote. On top of that, then you had the left registering migrants and driving migrants to the polling stations, therefore interfering with the elections. We've also got a low voter turnout, which I will get into a little bit later on. But let's get back to Clonmel for a second. So you have probably seen the video footage that I've thrown up. If you haven't, go and check it out. You're not going to miss much here for now, but you'll understand what I'm talking about if you check the video footage out. But I said this a couple of weeks ago before me ban, that there needed to be a plan put in place because Clonmel was getting very close, like Newtown, Mount Kennedy, and people needed to do something there. I also suggested 24-hour camps, blocking and barricading the roads, handcuffing themselves to each other. At least I came up with things to actually do to help the people of these areas. But I also said that nationalists needed to use the momentum that they had gotten to encourage people to go to all of these towns and villages all over the country and support locals there before it's too late. But again, as usual, as fucking usual, the people that are supposed to be running the show are clueless in what they're actually doing. And by the way, I just want to point out, yes, nationalists have gotten their foot in the door, but the story and the picture is far more dire than they're making it out to be. And I actually think that the celebrations, quite frankly, are embarrassing, because if you analyze this, right, you analyze the local and you analyze the European elections, this is what's actually happened. Sinn Féin have been decimated, great, right? But Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael are still the two leading parties in this country after this election, right? Social Democrats have gotten a couple of seats as well, right? 20 plus candidates with migrant background have been elected as local councillors. So this isn't the victory that everybody thinks that it is. And people need a dose of reality here, right? Because this is the situation as it is for now, right? Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael will lead the next government in the next general election. Now, whether it'll be Fianna Fáil with coalition with Fine Gael, or whether it'll be Fine Gael with coalition with Fianna Fáil, and then obviously the Greens will be in the picture again, right? And they might need someone else then to prop them up. But that's the reality of the situation, right? Sinn Féin will be a weaker opposition, but they'll be in opposition. And where will nationalists be? Well, they won't be in opposition where they should be, right? And if they had to play their cards properly and play their cards right and not ran as many candidates as they did and came under a unified banner, we'd be looking at a completely different result today. People like Philip Dwyer, people like Derek Bly would be elected. Kevin Kyle was so bloody close, like his first preference vote was absolutely huge, right? But it was the second and third, obviously, as the counts went on, that's where they ultimately fell short, right? So the thing about it is, yeah, Malachi's got in, Gavin's got in, member of the National Party has got in, right? And a couple of other nationalists have got in. Oh, great, great, well done. But what's the plan? I mean, right, you're in, but you aren't unified. So we got nationalists then fighting their own little patch, but not actually, you know what I mean? There's no plan, right? So the bottom line is this result is not great. And it's not, if you analyse it, this result is not great. So I don't know why everybody is jumping around and having a hoolie. And this rally next month, and I'll say it because, as I said, I'm not here to please anybody. But this rally next month is for one reason and one reason only. It's to stroke egos and tell everybody how great they are. Say the same fucking shit that they've said the past few fucking rallies. Right? But what is the actual plan of helping all of these communities? Nobody, what the rallies don't work on it. There's no point of rallies. What are you even holding a rally for now? Right? The only reason you're holding a rally is to stroke your ego and say, look at how great we are, we got elected. Right? But what is the actual plan? Right? What's the plan to stop these communities from being planted? Right? Where, like, do you know what I mean? The organise in other countries, but in Ireland it's just we'll just plod along. We'll just think about when it comes. Clonmel is going to be planted, right? They'll hold a rally next month and it'll be too late for Clonmel. Then Thornton Hall, right, will be the biggest fucking camp in this country, right? That'll be planted, it'll be too late. Right? So you can all stop blowing smoke up your asses and hailing this as a victory, because it isn't a victory. It's far from a victory, right? And I don't care who I upset, it's the truth, right? There is no victory here, right? Because there was no fucking plan put in place. So what's the plan? We let Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, right, fucking be in the next government. So how long are you going to bide your time for before you make his a fucking move and play his cards right? Right? Because if he's had to play his cards right, okay, and you still have time for the general election, by the way, it's not all lost. But what needs to happen now is, and I keep hearing different people giving opinions, well, how do you expect nationalists to come together because this nationalist did this to this nationalist and this and this? Well, these can stop these are fucking petty games, right? Because nobody gives a fuck what personal issues you have with each other, right? Yous have gone to the people, right, and stood up and told people you want to represent them, right? That's what yous have done. So I don't want to hear yous are bullshit in the background about how yous are having issues with each other. Yous either get together, right, or yous are going to fucking lose this big time, right? Yous are going to lose this big fucking time. It's unbelievable, it is. It's unbelievable how it just seems to be that, like, there's nobody with a brain saying to these people, listen, maybe we should quit at the rallies. Rallies don't work anymore. Maybe we should be encouraging people to go to these communities. As I said, right? And also, right, we've got an issue in this country, right? A very big fucking issue, right? Forget about the voter fraud stuff for a minute, right? I'll get to that in a minute, right? But let's get to the fact that Irish people still don't get up off their arses to vote. And if they do get up off their arses to vote, they're going to vote Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael anyway, right? So this is what needs to happen. But it's not going to happen. And I said this, I've been saying this for months, but let's see who's paying attention, right? So what needs to happen now is nationalists have got a bit of a momentum now because of the result, right? They have gotten some people elected, which is great. I'm not downplaying the fact that nationalists get in is great, but this could have been so much better, right? The result could have been so much better, right? But here's the issue that we have in this country, right? You've got counties where there's generational politicians, right? And if they're Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, right, the people of that county are going to support them and they're going to vote whatever party they are. So either Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. Then you've got the rest of the country that do not have the generational politicians in, right? They will mostly vote Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael as well. Now, you probably ask why, because this is a question that has been banded around by a lot of people out there. Why are the Irish people still voting these people in? And loads of people have come up with theories and all of this, but every single one of them are wrong, right? The situation with this country is this, right? Since the formation of the Republic, right, the parties that have been in power have been Sinn Féin, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, right? But Fianna Fáil has been the party that has dominated mostly in Irish politics. So it's in the Irish psyche. It's psychological, right? That's why people keep voting Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. It's the fear of change as well, right? A lot of people will speak a lot of stuff. A lot of people, here's the thing as well, people probably would have turned up at the protest, but probably at the end of the day, probably still voted Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, because they're not convinced. And this is the thing, the nationalist side have to convince the voter that there is a proper alternative to Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. So what needs to happen, right, from now until the general election is all of those parties need to be going into every town and village, do a nationwide tour, right, hold public meetings, right, get their people out there, say, and encourage people to vote and tell people there is an alternative to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, that they can do the job that these parties have failed to do. But unfortunately, if you're looking from the outside in, it's a complete shit show, the nationalist movement right now. Right? It's all over the place. There is no proper organisation. I mean, the answer to everything just seems to be, let's hold another rally, let's hold another rally, let's hold another rally. I mean, let's hold another rally is just not cutting it anymore. And until people start getting real, right, we're going to stagnate. I'm telling you now. And if people think, right, because a few nationalists were voted in the local election, then when it comes to the general election, a lot more will get voted in. Well, I'm telling you now, you're being complacent and you're being a little bit cocky, to be quite honest with you, because it's not that fucking simple, right? Because if you don't have half of the fucking population, over half of the population not voting, then you have the left then registering migrants and getting them to the polling station, right? And then you still have half of the fucking population that do vote, then end up voting the two main parties. I'm sorry, guys. You are deluded if you think that this is going to be actually a good election, general election for nationalists. It won't be. It'll be a bad fucking general election. And we'll be back to fucking square one. All over Europe, there's been a pushback against the left, except in the Republic of Ireland. Right? Go and check it. All the other European and local results all over Europe have swung to the right. And in Ireland, we've swung more to the left. Only in Ireland would they do that, and nationalists then claim it's a victory. I mean, come on, cop onto yourselves, will you? Right? You need to get serious now. Right? You've had all your funds and games, blowing smoke up each other's ass, patting each other on the back and all, saying how great you are. Now that you are elected, it's time to get to work. Right? Because going around doing videos screaming at people is not good enough anymore. We want action. We want a viable plan put in place by nationalists on what you are going to do about Clonmel, what you are going to do about Taunton Hall and all of these other places that are dotted around the country. That's what we want to know now. That's what we want. We expect from you guys now to come up with a plan. I've been saying this since last year. I've been saying this on this channel for months now, and I'm blue in the face fucking saying it. Right? And right now, as I'm speaking now, there's innocent Irish citizens in Clonmel being arrested. Right? And that wouldn't have happened either if a plan had been put into place. I said barricade the roads. I said put chains on the gates, handcuff each other, get handcuffs and handcuff each other and everything. Right? I came up with fucking things for them to do. But no, the response in this fucking nationalist movement is let's have a rally. Let's hold a rally. And they only hold a rally as well because they know all the media will be there. Right? They should be down in the communities. Simple as fucking that. Sick of this bullshit I am. So, look, yes, while it is good that we got some nationalists in, it's not the victory that the nationalists are making it out to be, unfortunately, because if you look at all the other factors, as I said, the voter fraud, the fact that migrants are being registered. Now, think about it. Up until now, until the general election, the left will continue to register migrants. And then they'll come up with an even bigger plan then on polling day to get those people to those polling stations. So this is why the nationalist movement should not be wasting any time. And they should be getting into all those towns and villages and those counties that they think that they can make a difference in. Right? And tell them that there is an alternative to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin or whatever. Right? But nationalist job now is to convince the country that they can actually do it. And right now, yeah, okay, they've only got elected, fair enough. But they have to be getting on their bike now. Right? As I said, over 20 candidates with migrant background are in local council now, right? So they're making decisions at local level, right? And if you look at the UK, that's how they've infiltrated in England, right? They're on the councils, they're on the boards, and look at how England has turned out, right? That's where we're heading now, right? This is why this is not a victory, because 20 plus candidates got in. Now they're in there. How long do they stay as a councillor? Hold on, I'll tell you now. 5 years, isn't it? Right? So think about it, right? Let me see. Yeah, it'll be the next election, council, local election. When is the local elections? Every what? Is it the same time? Hold on. Right, so local elections. Every 4 to 5 years, yeah. Right, so they're in there for 4 or 5 years, right, at local level. What do you think they're going to be doing for 4 or 5 years, right? They're going to be getting their hooks in even more. So this is what I'm talking about. There is no victory here. There is no victory here, right? So I don't know why everybody is celebrating, because there is nothing to celebrate. Look, I'm delighted that all of these nationalist candidates have got elected, right? But there should have been so much more elected, right? And we are in a perilous position right now. And I don't think these people that are in charge understand that. I think what's happened is they're believing their own hype, they're believing their own ego. People are blowing smoke up their ass, and they're being clouded by what's actually happening in front of them. Right? I said this about these places months ago, even a couple of weeks ago before the ban. I brought it up again, right? That there need to be organisation, barricading the roads, handcuffing each other, sitting on the ground, handcuffed to each other, make it harder for them to remove you and all of that, right? Do everything that you can to make them look bad, to make the public order unit look bad. That's what I said we needed to do, right? If those people are sitting on the ground handcuffed to each other and then the public order unit brutalise them, the country will see that, right? They'll just see that Irish people are sitting there protesting peacefully and are being brutalised, right? And the reason why the camp in Clonmel was pulled down so easy is because I suspect, by the looks of things and looking at it, that wasn't a 24-hour camp, right? And that's the issue as well. And as I said to the people at Clonmel before me, after me forced ban, I said you couldn't do half measures here. You had to be full-blooded, or don't do it at all. You're wasting everybody's time. And now today, they're looking for people to go down. Right? But I warned you all this was going to happen. I predicted all of this because I've seen what's happened in other countries. It's so obvious because the left never changed their playbook. But you think that the nationalist leaders would know all of this and would plan accordingly. But no, we just hold rallies. That's what we do. We just hold rallies now. That's the thing now. Just another rally. Brilliant. So I mean, look, we're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble. We're in a lot of more trouble than these nationalists realise. Right? Calm down, the worst is yet to come. No, why should I calm down? Right? Calm down, the worst is yet to come. No, the worst shouldn't be coming. If this was organised properly, we could have stopped a lot of this. That's the point. Right? We've seen what's happened in England because England are ahead of us. We've seen what's happened in America because America is ahead of everybody. We knew what was coming, right? Everybody knew what was coming. The evidence was there, right in front of people's faces, and they still ignored it. Listen, I was out of the water charges marches. People before profit were the ones leading that. And at a time, people before profit, yeah, some of the things that they stood for, a lot of the Irish people were in agreement with them. The water charges were an absolute disgrace. I was out there with my mother and father, right? I went to every fucking march in Dublin that was held with my mother and father for the water charges. And yeah, they were all sound back then, people before profit. They were very approachable, they were. Right? You could talk to any of them. They were the nicest people you could ever meet. But deep down, obviously, we see them now. We see what they're really like. Right? So they played a good game back then. They played a good game back then and they fooled us fucking all. Right? But he's just a fucking little weasel now. Using Dáil privilege, abusing Dáil privilege to name people that he doesn't like. Lady of Air is in the chat. Welcome. And Sinead, David O'Connor as well. We've got Paul O'Neill. Wolf is in the chat as well. Sinead, as I said, 7 years clean. Drop by for a chat or some advice is in the chat as well. Boost Leaf is in the chat. Vic S is in the chat. David O'Connor as well. More Boobs is in the chat. And we got Pat Murphy as well in the chat as well. Fred Wall, welcome. and Rex Banner in the chat as well. Welcome everybody, and we got Budgie Burger also in the chat as well. Welcome. So yeah, I mean, we people have to get a little bit of dose of reality, right? I'm not trying to throw cold water on this, but the bottom line is, if you analyze this properly, and I mean you truly analyze this properly, it's not good. It's not good. The left have gotten more control of the country, actually. Because what people seem to forget, that some of the independents that have got in as well are not nationalist independents. They do believe in the far right, and they are pro-immigration, right? Then, as I said, you got Social Democrats got a few seats as well. And as I said, yes, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael did suffer losses in the local, and they probably will in the European as well. But overall, they still hold the majority in this country, right? And there's reasons for that, as I said earlier on. The lower voter turnout, the fact that the NGOs in this country were registering and ferrying migrants to polling stations, and the fact that even though Irish people do vote, they're still inclined to vote Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, because, as I said to you earlier on, it's psychological, right? Because since the formation of the Republic of Ireland, these two parties, along with Sinn Féin, but Fianna Fáil mostly, have been the dominant party in this country. So, you know, the older generation, they're very staunch, and they're either pro Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael, right? So, and then, as I said, you've got those counties where generational politicians reside. So you're never going to break them, but the other counties are all wide open for you to make a difference and say to people, here, there is a better alternative to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. But instead of nationalists getting into a position where they could have been opposition or in government, I said they could get it done in two general elections if you play the blinder here. But now we're looking at 3 or 4 general elections. So 3 or 4 general elections is what, nearly 20 years from now, right? So we're screwed. We're screwed, because if you think Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael are going to slow down on the migration, right? And I can guarantee you that they'll slimline this whole process, which they are doing. They're doing emails now to these migrants, right? So to get their citizenship, right? But on top of that as well, they'll probably send them the election registration information as well to get them registered, right? So every new migrant that comes in here will be already registered to vote, and then then by the general election, trust me, this is why I'm saying these nationalists need to wake up. You need to get around the country, because if you can't convince the rest of the Irish populace to vote, well, then you're looking at an absolute disaster for the general election. And that's no exaggeration. You absolutely are. Right? So I'm not, as I said, I'm not here to make friends and to blow smoke up people's asses. I'm here to give you the reality of the situation. I'm absolutely terrified, folks. I'm absolutely terrified. I'm terrified for me, my wife, my family, but the Irish people, I'm absolutely terrified. Right? This is going, I'm telling you, people need to wise up where this is going, because this is going in a place where we won't be able to stop this from happening. Lady Avera, exactly 100%. We're all sat watching this happen with no reply. 7 years doing anything on platforms is playing into their hands. They know our every move, us all the time. The men need to start coming to fore. The women have done their bit. Where I live in Drumcondra, they have 2 houses full of fake UGs, and nobody got out to get rid of them. I can't do it on my own. But you see, that's where the nationalist movement, Sinead, I believe, should be doing a lot more. Because if they were encouraging people to get out there and showing them what happens in other communities if they don't. See, this is what we need to do. The media is not going to give them the information. Do you know what I mean? The government is certainly not going to give them the information. That's what nationalists are there for. We're supposed to be. And you see, social media, we've only got a little bit of a reach. I even said this yesterday. You know, we need to be getting out there nationally. And I'll go, listen, I'll help out any nationalists out there. And I'll go to any of these places around the country to get the message across. Do you know what I mean? And I know there'll be others, and I'm pretty sure people that listen to me here will if we organise something, you will meet up and we'll be able to get people together to go around this country nationwide and spread the message that there is a better alternative and encourage people to vote. Because if we don't listen, if you don't get the rest of the country to vote, right, it's game over, right? So again, though, if you can't even convince at least the majority of that voter populace that there's a better alternative, well then we're looking at another Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Green government, right? And nothing will change in this country. Nothing will change in this country. And we've already seen it, you know. Clonmel, listen, Clonmel is at early stages. That's going to get worse now, right? They're up on their game now. The election is over now. Tartan Hall, everybody should keep an eye on Tartan Hall, because Tartan Hall now, that's going to step up as well. These people just don't care that are in government. Listen, you know, if you listen to Micheál Martin and you listen to Simon Harris afterwards, yeah, the result, they lost the seats and stuff like that, but you could hear how confident they were. And they were confident. They genuinely believe that they're going to lead the next government. They even said that Sinn Féin wasn't a threat anymore. So again, this whole thing about Sinn Féin as well, I never got with nationalists like these. We're going around calling the threat. Yeah, it had an effect and they got decimated. But why you didn't put the same focus on Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael is baffling to me, because I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Yeah, you've decimated Sinn Féin, you've weakened Sinn Féin, but you aren't even in a position to become opposition. So I don't know what they... See, this is what I mean. There was no proper plan put in place. See, this is the difference between our 1916 revolutionaries and us today. Is back then they actually had a plan. Yeah, they kind of fucked it up at the start, but once they got on with it, they went through with it, and we've seen what happened, right? They sacrificed their lives, and then the tide in this country changed. All right, but that's the difference between us and them, is that they could actually organise. We couldn't even organise a fucking party in a brothel. So that's the situation we're in. That's the situation we're in. And, you know, I am absolutely, for the first time, properly fearful for this country's future. Because there's so much wrong here. You know, the fact, as I said, 20 plus candidates of migrant background being elected. I mean, they're going to get into the communities now for the next 4 or 5 years now. They are going to start changing things in those communities. And what will happen is those communities then will get brainwashed and will tolerate it. And then before you know it, then it spreads all over the country like it did in England. And you see what's happening in England now, right? So that's your future. And it's coming very soon to a town and village near you. And it is. Be under no illusion, right? It's happening. Unless these nationalists now get their act together. They have to come under what? Listen, I don't care what they say. They can kick and scream all they want, but they have to come under one banner now, right? Ego has to be put out the door, right? And elect a leader and a deputy leader, and they need to go as one under one banner. If they don't, well, then we're fucked, right? And I'm being out straight, which is, right, you know me, I don't fucking sugarcoat this nonsense, right? We're fucked. And I won't sugarcoat it either. It's the truth. We'll be fucked. Right? And we'll be worse than England because we're a smaller country and the volume, the amount that we're taking in, right? We just can't cope, right? And the numbers that are taken in are incredible in this country. We are fucked. So when I see nationalists celebrating, you know, I find it hard to actually celebrate myself. Do you know what I mean? Because there is nothing to celebrate, right? As I said, yes, it's wonderful that nationalists have got in, but if you look at the bigger picture, and if you analyze the bigger picture, right, it is not a good look. It's not a good look. And it's just so sad because there was an opportunity there. We did have the momentum. And if some of these nationalists had just came together instead of got running on their own separate platforms, you know, then we'd probably have a different result here, you know. But again, I blame the parties for that as well. You've got to make your parties appealing to people out there that are running. And maybe that's what the issue was. Some of these parties weren't appealing to the independent nationalists that ran. And that's an issue that would have to be fixed moving forward. But be under no illusion, folks, we are in serious trouble in this country, and I'm absolutely terrified for the first time in this whole situation. I am absolutely terrified for our futures and the country. Right? I've even had a couple of leftists who blocked me during all of this nonsense, unblock me now. So they're starting to get confident again, because they can actually see, and they've analysed it, and they see they're actually on the up. They can actually see it, but the only ones that can't see it are the nationalists who are in charge. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, they need to kind of burst our bubbles now and get back to reality. The reality of the situation is we're in a very perilous position right now. And if we do not make the right moves until now in the general election, we are fucking screwed beyond measure. We are done as a people. And be under no illusion, that is the fact of the reality. That is the fact of the reality. So take your dose of reality out there now, right? And start coming up with viable plans and how we actually fight back now, because we need to do more than what we're doing right now, because it's not enough. It's still not enough. And I know, you know, I heard some of the candidates saying it's a long fight, we're tired and all that. I get that. I really fucking do. I really do. But yous are the guys that put your names forward. Yous are the guys that knew what was going to fucking take. So you have to keep pushing and you have to keep going. There is no time for breaks, right? I'm sorry, but that's the reality, right? We're trying to do something here in this country that they haven't been able to do in other countries. Our task is impossible. Some say it'll fucking be a miracle. But beyond no illusion, I'm an optimist, and I actually believe that we can make a fucking big impact in this country, because I do believe even the ones that are not going out to vote are on our side. They proved the Jordan a referendum anyway, right? I don't know why they didn't get out for locals, but it's fucking mind-boggling. Well, it's not actually mind-boggling. As I said, it's psyche, I think, psychological. But still, we don't get these people out to vote. We are done. We are done as a country. We're finished. We're finished. We're finished. We'll be as bad as Canada Then you'll see your churches starting being burnt down. Then you'll have places in your own country which will be no-go zones, right? And this is what's going to happen. Some of these people in local now, right, wait till you see, right, they're going to have all of these things. This is what happened in England, right? It's what happened in America. It's going to happen here now. So I just want to say, you know, this, that everybody just wants to blame the NGOs and the left for the migrants voting. But here's the sickening thing about this whole situation. You'd be naive to think that no Irish people voted for them, because to get in, Irish people had to vote for them. So the left in this country actually got out to vote this time. See, what happened was the referendum, they got cocky, right? The left did. The left thought that it was in the bag, it was sewn up. They had the most money funding them and all. They thought they had it in the bag, right? And this is their response after being smacked in the referendum and losing by a record number. Now they've actually put us back in their place now and said, hang on a minute, we got out to vote. And also on top of that, we're admitting we got other people to get out there, non-nationals, to vote. So they even rubbed it in your face, right? So this is what they did. They got out to vote, right? They got out to vote, and Irish people decided not to go out and vote. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in. And the people, Irish people that did vote, either voted Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and voted some of these candidates in. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It wasn't just the migrant vote that got them in, that some would like to spin it as. No, don't be so fucking stupid and naive, right? They definitely had to have some Irish people voting for them as well to get in, right? And this is what we're up against. And this is what we're up against. And if people in the nationalist movement don't fucking cop on quick enough, right, as I said, we're in serious trouble. So I'm just going to say it out straight. I will not be attending the national rally next month, for the reason being that national protests, in my opinion, are not the solution to the problems that we have right now. I am not going there to see people go up and say the same thing over and over again and stroke their egos because they've been elected. I want to see my elected nationalists now come up with a viable plan of how we're going to tackle the state in Clonmel and Newtown, Mount Kennedy, and in Thornton Hall and other places around this country. That's what the focus should be on. The focus should also be on getting around the country and, as I said, holding public meetings and all of that, you know, putting adverts, getting people that are tech savvy to put websites up, put photographs, put fucking all the information up that the news and the media don't tell people about. I've said this last year, that if we had a central database or central place where people could go, right, and check out videos and all of that, and I said we could put posters up all around town with a barcode on it, or one of those fucking scan fucking things, wherever you fucking call them, I don't know what, it's QR codes, right? And then people scan the fucking thing, the phone, that brings them to this website, and it shows them the videos that the media refuse to show, and the crimes that are being committed that the media refuse to show, and all the other stuff that's happening in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, in Clonmel, because remember, the media won't show any of that, right? And then we also need people, citizens there, right, that are in towns and villages all over and places in Dublin City, right, that their places are being planted to be writing articles as well, sharing their experiences with people, right? That's what we need to be doing more like that. Also as well, use the TV and the radio if we can. Now that nationalists are in, do you know what I mean? Pay for ads on the fucking radio. If they don't play them, they don't. You're trying different fucking things, right? Rally is not the answer. right? There's so much more we could be doing here. We utilize social media, that's fine. And I think we all utilize social media and the different platforms. So social media is covered, right? But there's other things we could be doing. We don't have our own definitive news either, right? Grift media are up and fucking down, right? We need someone that's actually fucking will report on the fucking facts and what's going on and the numbers that are coming into this country, all of that breakdown from what continent they come from, all of that, the age groups, all of that shit. But I'm not tech savvy. Listen, if I had computer skills, I'd do it all me fucking self. But I don't. But this is what nationalists should be asking nationalists out there that because there's nationalists out there that are tech savvy, right? And are very intelligent people. Again, the true greatness of a leader is to utilize, utilize the tools that are at hand. Right? And one of those is the people that come to these places. Someone in there has to be a fucking computer fucking genius. Do you know what I mean? There's so much we can do. But yeah, the answer seems to be, I'm calling a rally. I'm calling a rally. I'm calling a rally. Well, I'm not going to your stupid fucking rally, right? Because the bottom line is your stupid fucking rally is not going to do anything. And your rally is just to stroke and massage your fucking ego and say, look how great we are. We got elected. And listen to the same bullshit over and over again. We need fucking action, and we need action now. That's what I mean. People that listen, I said, listen, Sonny, people will back me up on this channel, right? Before me ban 2 weeks ago, I had a stream, right? And the one before that, when I had my other ban, I did a stream before that as well. And I told people on this channel that the rallies weren't doing, protests were no good, right? We needed to do something different. And all of the things that I'm saying today, I said all of those weeks ago and months ago. Nobody is listening, Sonny. Nobody is listening, mate. So it's like talking to a fucking brick wall. And people did warn me, no, you're doing great, but you're going to be talking to a brick wall. Well, those people are right. I'm talking to a fucking brick wall. I may as well be talking to that wall. Nobody is listening except you people here in the chat. And most of you agree with me, because when I've done the other streams and all, I've even said to people, listen, if I ask you to go to Clonmel, I'll be there. Will you come to Clonmel with me? And people in the chat just said, give us the word and all, and we'll go with you. Right? Now, we might have to go and do that. So we'll see. I'll see what's happening with other people. Right? But we might have to start. We might have to go down to. It's the only way. We've got to support these people, folks, on the fucking ground. We need Conor McGregor to fund us. Listen, you all need to get over your Conor McGregor obsession, right? That man is not good for this movement, and he will end up bringing this movement down. So I've no time for Conor McGregor, right? I was a fan of his, but he's a scumbag. And I'll say it out straight, he is. And the fact that there's some nationalists out there blowing smoke up his ass is embarrassing, right? The man is an embarrassment, right? The only thing that Conor is good for is he's a useful idiot right now because he has so many people following him. So when he does highlight the Irish issue, it goes global, right? But that's all he's good for. He's a waste of sperm and a waste of space, and I can't fucking stand the man. And I'll take my number. I can have a website by tonight, give you full control over the way. Well, you see, here's the thing. I don't want control over the website. I think the website should be up there for the public. See, I don't know if you could do this. You're the web expert. Maybe you could tell me. But the whole idea of this kind of website that I wanted is that people can go onto it and post their videos or post comments about what's happening, right? And then also as well, we've seen, like, as I said back in the past, RTE showing maybe a hit piece on the far right, but showing, or so-called far right, and showing a little piece of the footage, but not showing the full footage. But then, like, people then can go on and show the RTE broadcast and actually show the whole footage of what actually went on and dispel the narratives from the media. So I basically want this website to be something that people in the chat, people all over, even people at home can add to, and, you know, alert the public to what's going on. But you see, I wouldn't know the first thing to do, mate, if you gave me control of that website. That's the thing. I'd rather someone run it that knows what they're doing, and also someone that has the time. Do you know what I mean? I'll be part of it if that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Because obviously I'll be adding to it myself. I'll throw stuff up there as well, like I would, like everybody else. But we need to do, that's it, James. We need to break that propaganda, and we've got to use every tool available to us that is available to us a lot better. We do utilize social media quite a lot, right? But we've got to try, and you know what as well, I was thinking, and people might think I'm mad, but I'm thinking outside the box, and this is what I always do. So you have local radio, right? I mean, Nationalists could probably put a GoFundMe together, right? And, you know, set up a fund to get a license to start broadcasting, right? Have our own radio station to rival the rest. Now, obviously, we wouldn't be as big as FM on a Fox, to be local and stuff like that. But everybody had their frequency they could tune in. But I don't know how much it costs to get a license to broadcast. And I wouldn't know the first thing about setting up a radio station. But if I got it in place, I would come on. I wouldn't mind coming on and presenting on it. We could get people to present on it and to give the stories of the day. You know, give proper fucking news. You know what I mean? But we need to be doing all of these things. We need to be thinking outside the box, inside the box, around the fucking box. Every idea, right? This is the way I look at it. I'll never dismiss any idea from anybody, right? If it's doable and it's plausible, I say yes. Let's go for it. Anything to try and change the psyche in this country, right? Because it is a fact, folks. I think people are missing a lot with this country. People can't understand why they're still voting Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. It's psychological. Since the foundation of the Republic, as I said earlier, the main parties in power was Sinn Féin first, and then they kind of faded out. Then it was Fianna Fáil, right? And then later on, then Fine Gael started then making inroads and start getting into government. But the majority of power has been held by Fianna Fáil, right? And you've also got generational politicians in certain counties, right? So that's the thing. That's what you're facing. And you've got to try somehow change that. Now, you're never going to change the counties where there's generational politicians. It's going to be very hard to get, say, the Healy Rays out of Kerry. It's never going to happen. But in other counties that have voted Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, that aren't staunch, you know, or have generational, they're the counties we should be targeting and getting into and saying there is a better alternative to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. But it's a psychological thing with Irish people. Because even when Irish people have been let down by these fuckers, right, we'll vote Fianna Fáil out one government, right? But then by the next time then, if Fine Gael effect up, we'll give Fianna Fáil another chance. And then the cycle continues and so on and so on. So it is a psychological thing. And we've got to break that. we've got to tell people there is a better alternative. But if I'm a person looking right now on the outside, inside at the nationalist movement, I wouldn't be too confident right now. I wouldn't be too confident that these people could bring this country forward. And this is why I'm saying the nationalist movement have to get their act together now, and they have to go under one banner, or they have to slimline what they do to try make an impact. And I even said this the last stream, some of those candidates that didn't fare well, you know, maybe look at those candidates again with politics. And I'll say it, it's a horrible thing to say, but it's the truth. With politics, personality is everything. And I've got to be honest, some of the candidates, you know, they're probably great people and all. They came across as great people. But if you've got the personality of a plank, well, you're not going to be able to encourage voters to vote for you. So that has to be looked at as well. You know, a lot has to be looked at. A lot of hard decisions, a lot of hard choices have to be made. But a lot of decision has to be made, not indecision. And right now, there seems to be a lot of indecision. So that's what we're facing. But there's a lot. Look, there's a lot of hard work to be done. But none of us that are on this, that have been part of this fight, mind getting their hands dirty and mind the hard work. It has to be done. Has to be done, but a lot more has to be done. And we're just not doing enough. We can't wait a month, you know, to hold another. I mean, why even hold a rally? I don't get, I just don't get that anymore. Rallies are not the answer anymore now. Like, you know, you've got to get your hands dirty. Because, you know, if you don't get your hands dirty, you know, it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse because, as I said, in a month's time, right? Okay, so we all go meet up in Dublin or wherever this rally is going to be held, right? So we all meet up in Dublin, but in a month's time, in July. But by July, then the encampment would have happened of Clonmel maybe, and Tartan Hall would be on its last set up before they move all the migrants in. So I mean, you know, do you get what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? Like, it is great that we've gotten some nationals in, but if you analyse this, as I said, do you know what I mean? Like, come on, people need to wise up now and understand that we're in a very, very perilous situation right now. And, you know, if we do not use these few months that we have properly, well, then all of the work that we've done will be for nothing. And I mean, it will be for nothing. It will be. It'll be too late, and then it'll be game over. And it doesn't matter what we do, right? It'll be game over. Now, when I say get their hands dirty, I mean, for example, right, I was down in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, supporting locals, and Justin Barrett and his wife, Rebecca Barrett from National Party, were there. Fergus Power was another nationalist that was there, and a few others like Eric English and stuff like that. But I didn't see these main nationalists, you know, the ones that, you know, everybody's blowing smoke up their ass. I didn't see them in Newtown, Mount Kennedy. And that's my point. They only turn up at the big protests, or call the big protests, because they know the cameras are there. But when they know the cameras are not there and there's a small little gathering, they don't turn up. So this, you know, this is what annoys me, right? So that's why I gave Rebecca my vote for European when it came to the vote. because she was there in Newtown Mount Kennedy. And I thought, you know what? Fair play to her. She didn't have to be here, but she came down here with her husband. So they're getting my vote. And that's exactly what happened. Right? Because that's what it's all about. That's what's getting your hands dirty means. Right? Being actually on the ground. Not just being showing your face at the big protests. You know, where everybody posting their pictures and the little videos. Hey, look at me, I was at the big protest. Right? But they're not there where it counts, where it matters. Right? Where are these idiots? Are they in Clonmel? No. No. As far as I know, actually, there is one nationalist out there. He's always out there. Right? Philip Dwyer. Right? Philip Dwyer, no matter what you think, what anybody thinks about Philip Dwyer, right, I'll tell you one fucking thing. He's always there. He's always fucking there. Right? That's why I have time for him. That's why I have time for him, right? Because he's always fucking there. Right? Certain other nationalists are never fucking there. Right? So as I said, I'm not here to please everybody, blow smoke and up people's ass and pat them on the back and say congratulations. No, want me plan now in place, please. I want things done. I want to know why you think a rally is the best thing in this situation when we need to be getting down to Clonmel, supporting the folks in Clonmel. Newtown Mount Kennedy, they've forgotten about totally. But there's still shit going on down in Newtown Mount Kennedy. As you know, I've still been posting videos. Right? I still keep you all informed about Newtown Mount Kennedy. Right? But there's still shit going on in Newtown Mount Kennedy. But you don't hear them talking about Newtown Mount Kennedy. Right? Tartan Hall, they've gone quiet on Tartan Hall as well. It's only when someone shows up to talk about. But Tartan Hall, Newtown Mount Kennedy, and Clonmel should be talked about 24/7. Right? They wait until, see, this is what's going to happen, right? And I want yous, right? You can clip this fucking part, right? I give permission, but mark my fucking words, right? If something happens in Clonmel or Tartan Hall or any of these places, another fucking rally will be called. Wait and you fucking see, right? They wait until something happens rather than preventing it from happening in the first place. I mean, what are we fucking doing in this country? You know, the Irish people, we were supposed to be the best in the world with fucking air tactics and all of this and blah, blah, blah. No wonder some people out there thinking Ireland has fallen and the Irish are a bunch of fucking half-wits after yesterday. I mean, after the results. I mean, what the fuck? Anyway. The rest of Europe swings right. We swing left. Brilliant. Yeah, 7 years clean. Drop by for a chat or some advice. I like your little tag. And if that is true, congratulations, by the way. But thank you for popping in. Really do appreciate it. We've got 125 people watching right now at the moment. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. By the way, I did ask you guys to get me to 3,000 subscribers before the 21st of June, which was my birthday, because I said it'd be a nice little birthday present. Well, we've actually gone way past that. So I want to thank you all because you're all a bunch of crazies. I love you all though. But this support that we're getting all around the country and all around the world as well is absolutely fantastic, and it means a lot to us. It does keep me going anyway. I have to say that it does keep me going. You know, even though I am being doom and gloom here, right? The bottom line is that the one thing that this general or these local and European elections have shown me is the fact that if Irish people on the nationalist side get their act together, they can actually make a better and a bigger impact than what they have. And the future, there are some shoots of life there, but we're still well away from where we need to be, unfortunately. And I do believe that it's because mistakes have been made. But look, you know, the bottom line is this, is that, you know, we'll keep going. We'll keep fighting, because that's what we do as Irish people. You know, I always defend me people, because there's this perception of us is that we're lazy and that we're all a bunch of drunks and this, that, and the other. And that's further from the fucking truth. It's a stereotype which I absolutely hate, because it's not true. It may have been true in some time period in our history, right? And a few decades maybe before. But the Irish people have always been hard working. The Irish people have always, you know, when their back's against the wall, that's when the Irish people show their true spirit and show that they are the best people in the world. And I'm not being biased here, but we are. Everybody wants to be Irish. The Americans especially, I mean, they love Ireland. It's a pity they don't understand that we don't like them. But anyway, I'm only messing. But anyway, the bottom line is, though, is that our people are loved all over the world, you know, and we've got to show them now. We've got to show the rest of the world the way on how to defeat all of this. And we've had a bit of a setback as far as I'm concerned, but it's not over. It's not over. It's far from over. If we can actually get our act together here now, right, these next couple of months, and we do some of the things that I said, right, but nobody's going to listen to me. But if there's a nationalist out there that's high up that is listening to me, you need to do all of this. And if you do all of this, I can guarantee you we'll have a better chance when it comes to the general election of making an even bigger impact. Right? Sinn Féin are out of the picture now. Right? We don't have to worry about Sinn Féin. Doesn't matter what Sinn Féin do. Sinn Féin know, and the Irish people know what Sinn Féin are about. They're never going to trust Sinn Féin. The trust is gone now. Right? Now your job is not to focus on them. It's to focus on yourselves and get yourselves organised and come up with viable plans to combat what's happening around the country. And to get into those communities, as I said, hold public meetings, use every fucking platform to your disposal. The ideas that I come up with earlier on, do you know what I mean? There's loads we can do. And the only regret that I have is I'm not tech savvy. Because if I was tech savvy, I would set up this website myself and I do all of these things by myself. But I think nationalists seriously need to look at getting into local radio, you know, getting a license for that as well. Because we need we need something on air, right? And then we can put little ads up. Oh, here's a new radio station, blah, 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 right? People will tune in. People will eventually tune in. And then you could have, right? I don't know if Irish people will know what I'm talking about. But do you remember at night time when Adrian Kennedy was actually cool and Jeremy Dixon were actually cool, when they were actually all right? I mean, they were always dickheads, but they did tackle some topics back in the day, you know, before they went all lefty, and they were balanced about it. But that's what we should. We should have a show called Get It Off Your Chest or something to that effect, where then people at home can ring in the radio station and then talk about all of these topics. It would, I'm telling you, man, that's what we need to do. We need to reawaken this fucking country, especially those that haven't voted, right? And we need to convince the ones that are still voting Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, listen, there is a better alternative. Here they are, and this is what they'll do for you. Unless the Irish get back to the Catholic Church, then it's over. It's nothing to do with the Catholic Church. This is bigger than the Catholic Church, mate. And the Catholic Church is sold out anyway. The Catholic Church has fallen to the altar of LGBTQ plus and woke. So the church can't be relied on in this country. right? We got to do this ourselves, right? We got to do this ourselves. Darden O'Reilly agrees with me as well. Thank you, Darden. It's really nice to see some of you actually agree with me. Listen, you know, if I wasn't as unwell as I am, you know, I probably would have ran and put my name forward, right? But I don't have the physic. I don't have the me health is not the best. It's always up and down. So it wouldn't be fair for me to put my name forward if there were days that I wasn't 100%, right? But there's other ways, as I said, I can help, and I have. I've helped other nationalists out there. I've interviewed other nationalists. I'll do whatever to help out this movement. But I'm getting very frustrated with the lack of planning and the lack of direction. And then we see the incidents in Clonmel today. And by the way, while I've been on, I'll just check now and see if there's anything new from Clonmel. But I'm pretty fucking sure that it's at the kicking off down there. I mean, workers just standing there with their tractors. You know, could you imagine, right, if Maliki says to people, listen, we need you to go down to Clonmel, right? Instead of holding a national, right, you want to hold a rally then, right? This is what I propose, right? Instead of holding the rally in Dublin City, where you always hold it in Clonmel. Hold it in Clonmel, right? You want to have your rally, hold it in Clonmel. If not, right? If not, if you don't hold it in Clonmel, then then you're wasting everybody else's time. If you're not going to do anything else than just a rally, well, then I suggest you hold it in Clonmel. If not, I'm not going. I will go down to Clonmel that day if anybody else wants to go down the day of the rally. We should be down with the people, not gathering in Dublin, stroking each other's egos and patting each other on the back. Right? So we go to Clonmel, we take a stand at Clonmel. That's where we hold the rally, because that's where the plantation is happening. So you hold the rally there. It symbolises that the Irish people have had enough. That's what you do. We don't go to Dublin. You get the thousands to travel to Clonmel. Could you imagine if, say, 10,000 people showed up in Clonmel rather than show up in Dublin? The message would be even more powerful. It would be even more powerful right in the middle of the country as well. Exactly. 10,000 people traveling to Clonmel from all four corners of the fucking country and meeting up in this central location. It would be fucking epic. It would be fucking epic. That's how you do it. There's how you do it. Right, you want your rally? There's your fucking rally. Make your rally about Clon fucking Mel rather than make it about yourselves. And then there's a powerful message to send the Irish fucking people. There you go. Look what's happening in this tiny place of Clonmel, and look what they're planning. All cameras will be all on Clonmel, and that's where it should be. The cameras shouldn't be all on Dublin, right? Should be all on Clonmel. So, I don't know. Look, as I said, I'm just a little cog in this nationalist movement. Nobody listens to me. So I'm actually talking to the wall, not to you guys, obviously, but to the rest of them in the nationalist movement. They're so caught up in their own ego and stuff that, you know, everything that I say will fall on deaf ears because apparently they know best. They know best. But they don't really. That's the thing. Do you know what? Imagine if they made me the strategizer of all of this, right? If I was the fella strategy, right? Trust me, people would notice the difference, right? And by the way, I wouldn't be doing it for any plaudits or anything. Don't give a shit about that, right? I just want this movement to fucking move in the right direction. But we need a new party. No, we don't. We don't need new party. See, again, what did I say? What did I say during my last live stream? What would happen? I said they would dilute Sinn Féin's vote, but they'd also dilute their own vote, right? And that's exactly what happened. It played out that way, right? They skewed the vote because there was too many nationalists running, right? They should have ran under one banner, but they won't. And apparently it's never going to happen. So this is the situation we're in. So unless unless a new party comes along and is able to actually, make a bigger impact than all it is and hit the ground running, then then that's another national party in the pond. So again, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. It's not going to work. So please give dates. Well, the details haven't been given yet, but I do know there's one being called for July. Because the liberal Malachi's mouthpiece were the ones that announced this. So there's a rally coming. Yeah, but Jason, the problem is you got too many egos in the nationalist movement. Nobody is going to agree to allow someone be leader and then play second fiddle, right? So it's either someone comes in that's neutral and takes over as leader, and the others just get on with their job that they've been elected to do and leave it to someone else now to steer this nationalist movement while they're in working on the ground. But again, they won't give up that privilege. We need a new Michael Collins. We don't need a new Michael Collins. We just need someone that has the balls that Michael Collins had. Here's the difference between me and some nationalists out there, and I know this is to be true, is like I'm actually willing to die for my country. And I can't say that for all nationalists. So not that I am going to, but what I'm saying is if it came to that, see, this is the way you need to be thinking. You need to be thinking of all scenarios. You need to be thinking of multiple plans. But you see, as I said, we can actually do all of this. All of this is doable. We just need to be a bit more organized. And if we are, then I do believe the future can be bright for this country. But as it stands right now, it's not looking good. By the way, before we did come on, Niall Boylan was still in with a chance, but his chances were fading. Claire Daly has lost her seat though. and she was asked to be interviewed by RTE, and she was asked how she felt about losing her seat. And Claire Daly told RTE News, "You have no interest in talking to me for 5 years, so I have no interest in talking to you." But it's just been confirmed that the spy has been has lost her seat. So at least there's some justice in the world. So she's lost her seat. She deserves it. I wonder if her boyfriend Mick Wallace lost his as well. But again, Philip Dwyer is in Clonmel, and he's live streaming there. 40 minutes ago he was. So there you go. There's Philip Dwyer. Even after the election result, there he is down in Clonmel. Right? You don't see the rest of them down there, but he's fucking there. Right? That's the reason why a lot of people voted for him as well. Right? We know the ones that actually do the work and are on the ground, and the ones that only show up for the big rallies. And that's why I'm frustrated. Right? Because Philip should have been rewarded for all he's done, and he should have been elected. But the good news is Claire Daly has lost her seat. So we got another communist out. So that's some news. So Gardaí have arrested locals in Clonmel for peacefully protesting. That situation has seemed to have escalated. But it's not looking good for Niall Boylan either. So Niall still may not get in now after Claire's acts. So it's not looking good for Niall Boylan. So, but just to actually talk on that, let's get into the election fraud, and let's talk about actually these counts. So first of all, they changed the times of certain counts during counting day. Some counts commenced at 7 a.m., others at 9, and then some in mid-afternoon. But also, what has startled me the most is that the count from ballot boxes were moved from the RDS to a fucking hospital or something, or vice versa. Also, the ballots were left overnight. Right? Now, we've seen some of the results. We've seen the left also say that they registered a lot of migrants last week and then drove them to the polling stations. But it is clear that a fraud went on in the counties where people like Derek were running, because Derek's first preference votes did very well. It was then when people start getting eliminated and the votes were tallying over, they weren't really going to him. And we also seen, because I've thrown up screenshots and I've thrown up some videos, we've seen these people on the left and the NGOs admit that they have been driving these people. And with a low voter turnout as well, this was always going to happen. And it's going to be worse for the general election. Now, what will happen is the left will look at how they operated this time around, and they'll hone their technique for the next time, and they'll get it right. And it'll even be more volume going into polling stations, because by the time the next general election comes on, remember, the country's still taking in people every day. So those people are going to be registered the vote. So this is why it is so important that we get out there. But the fraud has been reported by a member of the public to An Garda Síochána. Now, also, the Lawyers for Ireland, or wherever they are, that account up on X. I asked them, was there anything legally we could do, because they've admitted to interfering with the election. And there does seem to be, they have broken the law, because I put up screenshots earlier on from someone who did some research on X, and it looks like they have broken the law. The problem is, though, folks, I've got to say this, we're working against the establishment here, and the Garda Síochána are not going to actually investigate corruption. Sure, they won't even investigate the Minister of Children, who has allowed children to go missing in state care. So, while it was good to get it on record and to get it on video that election fraud has been reported, unfortunately, nothing will be done about it, right? Because like everything in this country, we sweep things under the carpet. The establishment do. It's their favorite pastime in this country. Remember, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael over the decades. This is what I'm saying. This is why I think it's psychological when it comes to voters in this country, because if you analyse what they've done since the country has become a republic, they've let down the people time and time again, but yet the Irish people will keep going back to them. We are really in a difficult position next general election. Listen, my worst fears are probably going to come true anyway, because I don't believe that the people that are in charge have a clue what they're doing, to be honest. So I don't know. Someone says, maybe, Noel, you should try raise an army of volunteers yourself and stuff like that. That's all well and good, but I'm being honest, I don't think people will stand with me when it comes to the crunch. I think a lot of people will say they will, but I think when it comes to the crunch, because we've already seen it, I don't know what has to happen in this country for Irish people to cop on. But certainly 3 kids and a creche worker being stabbed wasn't enough. Aisling Murphy not coming home wasn't enough. The 2 lads in Sligo wasn't enough. The incidents of people, migrants committing crimes all over the country is not enough. What is going to be enough? And that's why we've got to remind people of how bad Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael have been, and what has happened under their watch, and what they have done in the past as well, and remind people that they're not the best for the Irish people or the country, and that there is a better alternative out there that can move the country forward in the right direction. But the slow counts, the ballots being moved, the something was afoot. And it'll be, as I said, it'll be perfected by the left and the NGOs by the time the general election comes along, and they'll have bus loads and bus loads going. And if Irish people don't get out and vote, and if the Nationalists don't do enough to get people off their arses to vote, well, then the bottom line is the next general election, it's going to happen anyway. So people need to frame their minds. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael are leading the next government anyway. It's whether it's in that order, or whether it's going to be Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil led government, or Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael led government, but with the Greens and maybe some other party thrown in there. Maybe the Social Democrats or something would prop them up. But they're getting into power the next election. The best that we could have hoped for was to get into a strong enough position to even be maybe opposition, but that's not even going to happen now. So, that's a general election wasted. Then by the time we get to the next general election, which is what, will be 6 years from now. Well, 6 years from now, because it's next year if it goes. So it's five. It's every 5 year cycle, isn't it? 5 or 6 year cycle or whatever it is, right? So then we got another 7 years of that, right? So we're fucked. Forget about it. It's game over. It actually is game over already. It's just, when you actually think about it, it's actually game over already. I mean, maybe all the things I've said, even if we do all of that, we're still screwed. But I'd rather go out fighting and swinging rather than just sitting back and doing nothing about it. Welcome to the Irish Zone, folks. Anyway, let's see if there's anything else here. Now, oh, by the way, Justin Barrett is still. The count is still going on there as well. I mean, this is what I'm saying. There's something fishy being going on. All of these counts should have been done and all by yesterday. Not yet, not even yesterday. It's Tuesday now. I mean, should have been really. There's something fishy going on though. Yeah, as I said, Claire Daly lost our seat, so I suppose that's good news. I think a lot of Irish people have wanted her, Mick Wallace, to fare badly. Of course, if Mick gets in, then what's he going to do? Is he going to fly his missus over to is he going to fly Claire over to Brussels now to be with him? Wonder what Claire will do. Do you remember then gobshites when you were on the airport, the runway in Shannon? Fucking idiots. She looks like she's putting on a brave face, but she looks absolutely gutted. She ran out of there. She ran out of there faster. So she lost her seat on the 17th count. So this is what John McQuirk has said from Grift Media. He says, in non-Clare Daily news, the Niall Boylan chance ometer is now hovering around 1%. He is a very, very, very heavy underdog and will need a big and unlikely transfer from Clare Daly that expands his narrow lead over Kieran Cuff, who is in pole position to retain his seat. So it's not looking good for Niall Boylan. It looks like that the percentage is going down every time actually he reports on it. So it looks like Niall Boylan is also going to lose out. But Jesus, the Clare Daily news is really blew up. It's just a pity that some of the others of our ilk, especially few from people before profit, weren't given their marching orders as well. But what can you do? But again, this is another thing now I have to actually point out, and I have to say, I know nationalists have been ignored by RTE. I know nationalists have been attacked by RTE, but now you have to do something that you probably never thought you would have to do, and that's be the bigger person here now, because you've got to utilize RTE, right? If you're elected, they have to talk to you, but use RTE as a platform then to get your message across. But also then, if you want to, rally the troops for a certain event that's happening around the country, then that's what you should be using RTE for. So I would say to nationalists out there, I wouldn't dismiss talking to RTE. You will have to suck it in now and actually talk to them and Virgin Media, because at the end of the day, the country comes first. You've got a platform there now that you can use. They might they might still ignore you most of the time, right? But they will have to bring you on certain debates and certain things that are happening, and that'll be the opportunity that you will have then to get your message across even more to the public. So use it. Daily, yeah, well, but she was also conversing with other countries, so don't trust Claire Daly. And she's been a bit of a looper these last few years, so she lost her seat. So you know what? There's a few of us that are actually happy about that. It'd be nice now. I don't know if Mick Wallace has lost his seat or got his seat back, but it'd be nice if he was to lose his seat as well. They started all this lefty loony shit with people before profit, so they're only getting what they deserve, to be quite honest with you. Ming, I think it's still touch and go for Ming. Or did he? I think he got in. I think he got in by the skin of his teeth, Ming. So as I said, there's some of them that have got in, which is fine. But Claire Daly, a lot of people didn't like Claire Daly, so she's gone. So I suppose the lesser of the two evils. So Ming is home and host. There you go. So Ming is home and host. See, these results have been so all over the place. We should have had all the list of names and all the candidates by now, but they're still counting. And I'm just going to say this though. If this happens during the general election, this was it did something funny. Because something funny has already gone on. Then something funny is going on, folks. That's the bottom line. But look, it's been, as you know, I've been keeping you informed now as much as I can and stuff like that. And it's been a busy few fucking days, I've got to tell you. But I want to thank you all for getting me to the 3,000 subscriber mark. It just tells me that my hard work is paying off. So thank you. I really do appreciate that. But look, guys, we've got a lot of things to still do here. But again, I just want to finish with this. It's not the victory that everybody thinks it is. We're still in dire straits here. Yes, good news that some nationalists got in, but this is the problem that we have right now. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael will lead the next government. Okay, whether it's in that order or not, we do not know. Right? where Nationalists will be after the general election. Can they be opposition? I doubt it, highly doubt it very much that they'd be able to make that much of an impact unless they come together under one banner. Maybe then they have a chance. But the bottom line is this, is that they still control the majority. As I said, Social Democrats have gotten in. People are still voting the Green Party, by the way, which is baffling. Someone said on the app on X, I've never came across a Green Party voter, and I'd have to agree with that. But Green Party seem to play a blinder all the time and manage to seem to get people in. I don't know how they do it, but there must be a secret, because, you know, when everybody thinks the Greens are going to be wiped out, they manage to stick around like a bad weed. Doesn't go away. So, I don't know what they do is fucking, it baffles me, man. It actually does baffle me. It's amazing what they're able to do every general election, local election, and because you think they're going to be wiped out, like. You think they're going to lose all their seats and all of this, and then they manage to do something, right? But the bottom line is that the picture is not as rosy as it's being made out to be. We are in serious trouble here in this country now. And as I said, 20 plus candidates, councillors have been elected with migrant background, right? And they're going to be in the communities now for the next five years anyway, right? At local level, right? In 5 years, those communities are going to completely change. And wait till you see the change that's coming for those communities. So we haven't won jack shit. Nationalists need a dose of reality, and that's the dose of reality. You need to now up your game. Yes, it's been a tiring journey to get this far, and some of you are tired, but the bottom line is that rallies are not cutting it. There needs to be more done now, and if you don't do more, then when it comes to the general election, we are going to be in a worse off position, not a better position. And also, as I said, if you cannot wake up the rest of this country, right, and get them out to vote, then you're gone. I'm not negative. I'm just being a realist, right? There's nothing negative about what I'm saying. You go and analyze the results. Go and analyze the results and look who's actually got in. Look who they stand for, right? There's nothing negative about what I'm saying here, right? It's a reality check and a reality dose for a lot of people out there, right? This result is not as good as everybody is making it out to be, right? Okay, what was the point of all the nationalists running if they're not going to actually make an impact, right? They're not going to make an impact. They skewed the vote. They diluted the vote anyway, and I warned them that they were going to dilute the vote months ago, right? They needed to come under one banner and go as one, but they decided to go their separate little parties and set up parties, and different people who ran as independents obviously didn't like what the parties were offering, so decided to run themselves. That diluted the vote for a lot of them, right? But not just for themselves, for and other parties as well. But then if you have the left then and the NGOs then encouraging migrants to register and encouraging them to vote, and then only 40% of the Irish population actually get out to vote, but then end up voting Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Greens, well, then you're not going to get anywhere. So no, I'm not being negative. This is a reality check, because this is the situation that we're in. And I'm not going to blow smoke up people's ass or massage their fucking egos out there in the nationalist movement. They need to get their act together, because if they don't get their act together, by the next general election, we're worse off anyway, right? We're worse off anyway. Look at the numbers that they're allowing into this country every day of the fucking week. Every single one of those people will be registered. You don't think that the left will have, and the NGOs will have a plan in place for the general election? We'll have bus loads of these people ferried to the fucking polling stations. Of course they will. Of course they will. And they were bragging about it during the European and local elections. So no, this is the reality check that you all need. This is the truth of the matter. And if we don't do things like I've said, right, nationalism now needs to go around the country. Then there needs to be a nationwide tour. Right, you need to start holding public meetings. Right, you need to use media. You need to start showing the people of this country that there is an alternative to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. Right, because the psychological the psychology of this country is no matter what happens, they're going to vote Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, especially Fianna Fáil, because they've been the party that has held the power the most since this country has become a republic. Right? So you've got to break that. You're never going to break the generational politicians' counties, but the other counties that don't have that do vote Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, you can get in there and tell them there is an alternative to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. Right? And you show them as I said, you start giving them the information about the stuff that the media won't report on. Right? You show them all of this at town meetings and town halls all over the fucking country. Right? You utilize media now. We've got RTE now, right? Because they have to start talking to the Nationalists. That's what the Nationalists should be focused on when they get on, right? Exposing what's been happening in the country and what RTE have failed to report on, right? And they turn them off during a live broadcast. Irish people will see that. Well, why are they covering up? Then people start questioning RTE. This is what needs to happen, right? So I'm not being negative. It's the fact and it's the reality of the situation. And people need to wise up and stop blowing smoke up all of these people's asses now and saying, well done. The time for that is over now, right? The time is to actually get down now, get their hands dirty and get into those communities and help them out. Like Clonmel, like Tartan Hall. Tartan Hall is going to be the biggest fucking migrant camp in this fucking country. Right, and the solution is after everybody won, let's hold a rally in Dublin. Let's hold another rally. Let's massage each other's egos and pat each other on the back and say how great we are and say the same shit that we said at every other fucking rally. Anyway, we do have a couple of trolls in the chat. Listen, the bottom line is you decided to come in here and be offended. So if you want to be offended, that's up to yourself. But it's not my fault you're halfway. Just get a life anyway. But that's the situation that we're in, right? So I'm not going to pussyfoot or sprinkle little fucking sprinkles on this and say everything is great and we should be happy and yay, because we're far from it, right? We haven't. Do you know what? Actually, we have gone from where we could have got into a great position, and we're actually in a worse position. Even though some nationalists have got in, we're in a worse position. So that's where we are, and yeah, honesty does hurt because people need to hear it. Listen, I don't care if people hate me for this. I'm not here to win a popularity contest. I'm just here to be out straight, which is, and this is exactly how I say it. But if you actually analyse it yourselves, and as I said, go through every single one of those candidates, what they stand for, right? What their beliefs are on migration, what their beliefs are on LGBTQ plus, and all this other stuff, right? And you will soon find that a lot of them, that this country swung more to the left than it already was. And that's the situation that we're in. And then on top of that, yes, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael have lost seats, but they're still the main parties, right? So nothing has really changed, except they might have fewer numbers. But that's it. That's it. And if people think that and here's a narrative that I have seen where people vote differently or people don't bother for local and European elections. I'm sorry, but that's a bit of a naive excuse to be using as well. And if you get complacent or cocky, this is going to backfire on you big time. You just need to be on your ball, need to be on the ball now from now until the general election, because if you aren't, well, as I said, the scenarios that I spoke about is exactly what's going to happen. And I don't want to come on here when the general election is over to say I told you so. And then, do you know what? It'll be too late then, by the way. It's game over then, right? So that's the bottom line. Anyway, the National Party effed up with their hanging mantra, shows they're not genuine. Well, the National Party, have had their internal issues, but you know, so but even then they managed to get, what was it, two candidates in or something. Let me see, who else have we got? I mean, if some of you are just going to come at me with, oh, Clonmel's not in the middle of the country, he thinks Clonmel's in the middle of the country. I know it's not in the fucking middle of the country. I said we make it stand in the middle of the place where the fucking the camp is. I know where Clonmel is. I'm Irish. And then we have, I love all of these people that come in here, especially all the lefties. You're nothing but a West Brit supporter. You warm up and cozy up the British nationalists. Listen, I've been telling fucking Irish nationalists that they need to keep away from British nationalists because not a good look. Right? So of course it's not a good look. I know that. I'm not fucking stupid. Right? I'd have nothing to do with a British fucking nationalist. Right? Might be fighting the same fight in their countries, but let them fight in their country and we'll fight our own fucking battle here. But I don't cozy up the British nationalists. Right? We've had enough with that with Sinn Féin. Don't need that shit now anymore. Right? And I know there's a few parties out there, nationalist parties, that the left believe are, cozying up to nationalists and all of this. But look, the bottom line, whether you like it or not, is a lot of these people, a lot of these men, a lot of these party leaders do meet up with each other and they do talk to each other. Just like all the lefty politicians, when they meet up and have their all little G8s and all of these other little fucking meetings and Davos and all of that other shit where they're doing shady bollocks. Do you know what I mean? Herman Kelly is the Aldi version of Nigel Farage. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of Herman Kelly, but I did interview him and he came across quite well. But I didn't vote for the Irish Freedom Party. So, you know what I mean? As I said, I voted others that I believe deserved me vote. But at the end of the day, as I said, you don't have to like these people, folks. The bottom line is that if they stick to what they say they're going to do, that's all that should matter, really. Do you know what I mean? But I can understand why people don't trust them, right? But that's just a personal thing. Justin Barrett is pro EU, man. Well, look. See, any candidate that you support are going to have different beliefs, right? They're going to have different policies, right? And not one candidate out there is perfect. There's not a perfect candidate. There's never a perfect candidate, right? You'll always get some candidate that some people will agree with and some people won't, right? I'm not pro-EU. I can tell you that anyway. I fucking hate the EU. I think it's the worst thing to happen to this country, and I think we should be out, right? But again, we can't just say, yeah, let's pull out of the EU, because we've seen the way the Brits did it, and they fucked up, right? So if we're going to pull out of the EU, we've got to do it properly and learn from the mistakes that the British government made, because we can't afford to make those mistakes, or the country be pushed further into fucking debt, and the people will suffer then. Do you know what I mean? So it has to be handled properly. Ella Green and Gavin Pepper were all for the vaccine lockdowns. Don't forget that. Well, you see, again, I didn't get the vaccine. Again, yeah, I did. A lot of people try to let people know what Gavin was about. Those screenshots, but Gavin's protected by certain people, so the bottom line is that, look, there's nothing you can do there. He's being elected now. The time was to do something about that, was not to elect him if you don't trust him. See, this is the thing now. Some of you are saying you have a problem with some of the nationalists, so why did you just vote them? I only voted for the nationalists that I saw in places like Newtown, Mount Kennedy, and small places like that. Right? That's who got my vote. Right? I knew who I could trust when I put me vote on the ballot paper, and who I didn't trust. Right? But it's not, as I said, even on election, I even said that I had concerns about some of the nationalists. I told you the night before the elections even happened. But I said at the end of the day, it's not my job to convince you guys who to vote for. That's ultimately down to you guys. Do you know what I mean? So, look at, I know there's people in there, probably lefties, that are telling me about some of these candidates. Listen, you're not the only ones that have had issues or have concerns about certain candidates, right? But the bottom line is this. I'd rather have those people in any day of the week over any you lefty twats who want to absolutely ruin this country, right? And if they do even half of what they promise, these nationalists, sure, we'll be better off anyway than where we were, right? But they have to do better than just doing half of what they have to do. Everything that they promised. It's the bottom line, right? But as I said, I'll make it clear, I don't like the fact that nationalists cozy up to British nationalists. I don't, right? I don't like the fact that some candidates had questions to answer but never answered them and got protected by certain people out there. And if you questioned them, you are piled on. That's what happened to me. I tried to question someone and I got piled on. And then they tried to make it out that I was saying that I hated the people of Coolock. Right? So when I went down to Coolock the last time, I'd get my head kicked in. That's the type of attitude you have with some people in this movement. I know, I've dealt with them. But see, the thing about it is, I've dealt with another fandom for 7 fucking years. I've been on this platform for 7 years talking about TV shows and all. And I've had to deal with death threats and pictures of beheadings sent to me, told that my dog was going to be murdered and my wife was going to be raped. Right? So I've had to deal with all of that. So that's happening to me in the nationalist movement is fucking nothing. Right? So when they tried that, they actually failed. But that was just because I decided to question and ask a question that these people claim to be the media for our side, but they don't ask the questions. They didn't ask the questions that needed to be answered. If someone's bragging about being a landlord, right, and then the media report on it and say he's not a landlord, but then, yeah, he lied then. So he wasn't a landlord and he lied about it. Right? So that's who people voted for. So don't blame me. It's not my fault. I didn't vote for him. It doesn't matter who's making threats. I can handle myself. I don't need anybody to back me up. I'm well used to this shit. I've gotten worse. Right? I've even had people even threaten to come to me door. They could do whatever they want. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. So look, don't. All I'm just saying is, like, don't try get me involved in all of this shit anyway. If some of you are not happy with these people, I've warned people anyway. I've done my bit. As I said, I'm not here to make friends with anybody or blow smoke up people's ass. I'll say it out straight, and I've had problems with certain candidates, right? But the bottom line is they've been voted in now. So as someone said in the chat there, now let's see if they do their jobs. Let's see if they keep their promises, right? Because the thing about it is with this, right, what the Nationalists probably don't realise is that they won't be given second chances like Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael have. They've only got one chance to get this right. They've only got one chance to get this right, because if Nationalists start letting them down, sure, the country will just say, fuck it, sure, we might as well just keep in the same crowd. Do you know what I mean? So that's the thing. This is why, they've got now to deliver on everything that they've promised the people, because if they don't deliver, the people will vote them out the next day. They'll lose their seats as quick as they got them. So let's see what happens. Let's see if they can keep their promises. Right? We've given them a chance now, haven't we? So let's see if they can keep their promises. If they keep their promises, fair play to them, they get re-elected. Good job. And then if people see that they actually do their jobs, then people say, do you know what, maybe the Nationalists are not bad. Maybe I'll give a Nationalist a vote this time round. Right? So they're the people that are in now. So now they've got to show the rest of the country now and show the rest of us out there that they can actually deliver on their promises. And if they deliver on their promises, then yes, then we might be onto something here. Then the future might look bright, because then people might say, do you know what, I'll give a Nationalist a go. Those Nationalists have done well so far. Let's give some of them else a go. They seem to know what they're doing. They seem to know what they're talking about, and they're all about action, right? Rather than words. Because that's all we've gotten in this country is words, and broken promises, folks. No, sorry to hear about people. Listen, it's all good, mate. It's all good. Listen, I've dealt with that. Listen, that's been dealt with a long time ago. Listen, that stuff doesn't bother me. I was just saying it just to let you know that, look, nothing's going to stop me from informing you guys and doing what we do here. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for anybody, or to throw sprinkles on it. I will just speak my mind and tell you exactly how I see it. And this is how I see the situation in this country right now. And, people will say, well, you're being way too negative. I'm not. I'm just being real about the situation. And we all have to get real here, because at the end of the day, our futures are at risk, folks. Our country is at risk. And future generations of our people are at risk if we do not do more than what we're doing now. At the end of the day, I think a lot of us would rather be sitting at home with whoever we spend our lives with and enjoying life. But all of that is under threat, right? All of that is under threat. And it's our duty to do something about it. And that's where I am on this. It's our duty to do something about it. And I won't stop. I'll be out there with my fellow Irish man and woman, as I have been. And I'll stand side by side with them wherever we need to go. I'll be there. And I'll keep you as informed as I always have. And I just want to say again, the support that you have given me, especially on this channel, has been absolutely mind-blowing, and I'll never forget it, right? No matter what happens, I will never forget this. I'll never forget this little journey that we're on. I've met so many wonderful people, And I just want to actually give a couple of special shout outs to a couple of nationalists who I believe should have won a seat but didn't. Fergus Power. You know, I've met that man. I've had the pleasure of chatting with him. I've had the pleasure of interviewing him as well. And we were, as I said, we've been in Dublin City on the protests when they were called, and we were in Newtown, Mount Kennedy. But that man so deserved to see, and the support that he was getting actually at the doors does not translate on the ballot paper. But as we know, it was rigged anyway. But Fergus Power, Eric English as well, another great patriot who missed out as well. Absolutely wonderful lad. Had the pleasure of meeting him as well. And we marched as well to Dublin Port. It was great day that day in Dublin Port. Also, Kevin Coyle. Kevin Coyle surprised a lot of people, came into the campaign a bit late, but ended up getting a lot of forced preference votes. Actually, he did well. He did well. He was up there at the top. Did well, the most nationalists, believe it or not. And unfortunately, he just missed out as well. But again, I would just want to say to him, it was an absolutely incredible thing what you've done. Every single one of you should be proud of what you've done. Tracy as well, O'Hanlon as well, didn't make it. I like Tracy, so I'm going to give Tracy a mention as well. Was devastated for Tracy as well. But there were so many of them. But those in particular were the candidates that I was really egging on, and I was pretty certain they'd get in. Myself, to be quite honest with you, because of the feedback they were getting. But of course, if you've got the NGOs on the left ferrying people to polling stations, you have an uphill struggle. So those guys, as far as I know, I don't know if it's been announced, but I think, you know, with the support that they got, I'll just say this out straight. A lot of those people would be foolish if they didn't run for the general election, because I'm pretty sure that some of them will be nailed on for a seat. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. This gave them the platform now, and I do believe that they. But again, if the NGOs are cheating, as Bruce Lee said, Leaf said there, then it's all for nothing. But you know. And all you just said it's rigged, that means the voting does fuck all. No, mate. No. It does fuck all if you don't get the rest of the population out to vote. It was a low turnout poll. 40% or something was the turnout, right? Which means 60% of the Irish pop were sitting at home on their arses and didn't bother to vote. What I've said is if nationalists now can convince that 60% to get up off their arses to vote, and go around the country and convince them that there is an alternative to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. Even if the left try and rig this, if you get the Irish, but see, this is the key here, getting the Irish population to vote. We've always been very bad at voting in this country anyway. You look through all of our election history, the turnout has been pretty low, right? In the early days, it would have been pretty high. As we've gotten on over the decades, the electorate has been falling off or not voting, basically. So this is what the focus needs to do. So, Paul, yes, you are. I get what you're saying, right? But there is a hope if we change our strategy. I mean, holding a rally, which is apparently the next thing that's coming up, is not what we should be doing. What I've just said there is what we should be doing, right? Getting into those communities to try and change that, to convince people to vote, that your vote, because there's a lot of Irish people, and I know, right, because I heard a conversation between two women on election morning when I was going to cast my own vote, saying, oh, it's election day, I don't think I'll bother, right? And that's the attitude that a lot of people, because they think everybody else will vote. So they say, oh, well, I won't vote because people will go out and vote. We've got to change that attitude, but we've also got to convince people that, look, there is an alternative to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and to all of these other parties. And it's these nationalist parties here. Look at the work they've done so far in the community, right? That's what we need to do, mate. We need to get that percentage, right? If we can at least get, right, instead of 40% coming out to vote, if we can get a 75% of the pop voting, we've got a shot. No, Macy, you're not looking at it in numbers, right? Even though there are migrants in this country and the numbers keep going up, there's still over 6.5 million Irish people in this country. If you can't get at least 2/3 of that out to vote, well, then you're right. We'll absolutely, it's pointless. But it can be achievable. Listen, nobody gave JFK a chance when he was running for the American president, right? We've had our own similar stories in this country. Certain politicians not giving a hope in hell, even recently, right? Nobody gave Gavin Pepper or any of those other people a chance of being elected. If you were to listen to the media and the left, but it happened. But it happened. So all is not lost yet. All is not lost yet, but it's time now to start getting smart. Yeah, we're nearly at 7 million. See, they haven't done the census yet, but the last time they did the census, there was, hold on. When was the last census? See, that figure of 5.127 million in 2022, right, was the population of this country, right? You factor in birth rates, right? Even though Irish birth rates are on the decline, they're not on the decline elsewhere. But there's about 7 million people in this country now. There was nearly 5.5 million here. So that was 2 years ago, right? And you're all forgetting about the Ukrainians that they're taking in, the people from the African continent that they're taking in, the Roma gypsies. They're all having kids as well. Remember that. Country, we're nearly at 7 million. But as I said, still doesn't change the fact you get 2/3 of this country to get out and vote. It doesn't matter what the NGOs and the left do. Yes, probably be close run thing, but you could still win this. But look, there's things going on anyway. People have reported the fraud, even though I do not believe nothing will happen about it. But maybe getting it into public consciousness. And again, nationalists now do have RT as a platform when they do decide to interview them. But that's the thing that they need to be pushing now in the media, is this election fraud, right? If you look at the way other politicians in other countries do it, they call it out. America is the biggest example there with Donald Trump. He has no fear of saying the election was stolen and stuff like that. This is what the nationalists need to do when they get on RTE. Tell people that they believe that the election, the local and European elections were rigged. And they've got the evidence. We've seen video footage. We've seen all of these NGOs put up posts all over. See, this is the stupid thing. They're actually really stupid, the left. They actually put the evidence up themselves. They post the videos with glee. Oh, look what we've done. So the evidence is there. If we actually had a Garda Síochána or a justice system that wasn't corrupt, right, this would be investigated, and there's definitely grounds for fraud, election fraud. But it's not going to be investigated, folks. So we need to kind of accept that, right? Until nationalists actually get in power, no justice is going to be done in this country, right? Innocent people, innocent citizens, peaceful protesters are going to. They were warned by the Gardaí, right? One of the videos, they were warned that they face up to 6 months in prison now. 6 months in prison for peacefully protesting outside a plantation centre or a proposed plantation centre. 6 months, right? So you'll have a criminal record. If you go to Clonmel, right, and you handcuff yourself to someone that's sitting on the grounds, right, and you're just sitting there minding your own business, you can get 6 months in prison now. 6 months. They'll lock you up for 6 months, right? There's people doing worse things in this country that have been led that should have got years, right? Years, and got suspended sentences. And these crimes involve children, if you know what I'm saying, right? And these people got to walk free with suspended sentences. But if you protest peacefully, right, you're getting 6 months in prison. And by the way, like everywhere else around the world, if you're given 6 months for peacefully protesting and that's the sentence, you will do the 6 months. But if you murder someone in this country, you'll get life and you're out after 7 or 8 years good behavior. This is how ridiculous this country is becoming. Anyway, I think I've rambled on for enough today. So if there's definitive news on Niall Boylan tonight, I'll post it up in the community tab. If there's a victory video or if he puts up a video announcing whatever, because normally that's what happens. They announce whether they've made it or not. If he throws up a video, I will throw it up. I will throw up that Claire Daly video. It's only a 7-second video, but it's hilarious. Wait till you see her face. She does, in fairness, fair play to her. I mean, in one aspect, she's got a smile on her face. She's literally probably devastated because she's after losing her seat and her cushy job in Europe, right? So she would be devastated in the inside. The fact that she's able to put a smile on her face and then hit back at RTE. And I will give her credit for that, right? I'll give her credit for sticking it up to RTE because we all hate RTE. But Claire, can I just say, you deserve it. It's what you deserve, right? Because the last couple of months especially, you've been a bit of a twat and you've paid for being that twat. So, you know, I don't think it is the end of Claire Daly is what I'm saying, though. Claire Daly will be back. She will bounce back. The one thing I will say about the woman, she does seem to be very resilient. So I'm pretty sure she'll bounce back. But I hope she uses this time to think, you know, and maybe, you know, reevaluate some of the things that she does support. Because Claire Daly, I will say this about her, you know, she is the type of politician that you would like if she wasn't left, you know, swinged mostly to the left. You know, if she was more centralist candidate, Claire Daly would actually be very effective. But unfortunately, a lot of these people that could be effective choose to go down these woke paths and this woke ideology. So, you know, as I said, you know, and I'll put a picture of her up later on. You again, you know, if you're coming out wearing a hijab and all of this other shit, you're not getting elected. It's as simple as that, and that's what's happened. You know, she's just, I don't know, I've always found her a bit of a joke, but I'm not going to lie, as I said, you know, I admire the fact that she doesn't give a fuck. Yes, David. Oh, Pat, I should say. Yes, exactly what you said. I just have to be careful because I'm on YouTube. But yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You get suspended sentences for that. But yeah, if you protest peacefully now, you can get 6 months. And you will have to do that 6 months. Right? Question: why is there no tracking details or online traceability to where ballot votes? Good question. Good question. Actually, there was a screenshot put up as well where the results have come in all over Europe, and then it said under Ireland, data not available, information not available. Sorry. Yeah, the certain bogeys gone on, Shamrock Jerry. So we know that. Definitely something's not up. If I was to make a prediction, right, I reckon that a lot more nationalists actually got elected, but they couldn't rig it all. So basically what they did is they probably rigged it for the candidates that they believed would make more of an impact. So they eliminated them and kept the others that they probably believe and are naive that won't make an impact. But I'm pretty sure these nationalist candidates will surprise a lot of people. I'm not saying all of them will deliver, but I'm pretty sure the majority of them will, and it'll stick two fingers up to them. But if I'm a betting man, that's exactly what's happened here. Because just to remind you, just before I leave anyway, because I am heading off now, but just before I do go, Derek Bly and Philip Dwyer, the media were reporting on, were going to surprise people. And the way it was being spoken about, they were actually going to be a shoe-in. But then we saw video footage and we saw these lefties admitting that they were ferrying migrants all over the place. And apparently where in Derek's constituency, migrants were brought to polling stations there. So Derek then ended up not getting a seat. So that's what I believe has happened. I believe that the Nationalists, they believed, could have made a bigger impact. They took out of the picture. So Kevin Coyles, your Eric English, Fergus Power, Derek Bly, and Philip Dwyer, and it looks like Niall Boylan as well. Those six in particular, right? Because they've been, well, five of them in particular have been on the ground, right? Niall's been on radio, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But those five in particular have been all over the country, right? And they have made the bigger impact. And they were making a big impact at the doors. So those five, I believe, should have been the ones that got elected, to be quite honest. The rest of them that got elected in, I thought, yeah, they have a chance, but it's touch and go. They were my five that I actually thought were shoe-ins. So it just goes to show you how fucking wrong I was, right? But I'm not wrong, I don't think. We've seen the rigging. It's being reported that the election was rigged. So, look, it'll come out. Whether it'll be investigated or not, I highly doubt it. But the Nationalists need to use RTE to actually start speaking about that. Derek got in. No, Derek didn't get in. Derek lost out. Yeah, they were all busting Pat. Yeah, there's video footage and all on X, and there's actually immigration NGOs that work in Ireland that actually put up posts to say that they had registered and bussed people to these locations. Like, they've actually admitted it. Now, I'd like to collect my daughter now, so I'm going to wish you a great night. And to everyone in the chat too, I'll be back again when you go live again. Great job, Noel. Darren, it's an absolute pleasure. And it's an absolute pleasure meeting you all in the chat as well, guys. Now, obviously, the channel's big, and I'm going to have to start looking for moderators. So, you know, if they're if there are people interested, now obviously, you know, there's some new people that have come in, but there's been some people here that have been here from the very beginning. You know who you are. You have been here from day one. If you want to be considered to be a mod, your job then in the chat then will be to make sure that everybody is safe in the chat. There's no trolls and all of that other nonsense. But of course, I have to be careful who I give the mod to. So if you're interested, let me know, and then I'll see what the story is, you know, all of that, and yeah, because we're going to get to that stage where we're going to need some moderation in the chat. But for now, yeah, we'll leave it there. But look, I will be back again very soon. So come and join me for the next one. But as I said, we're just waiting on the few count staff to come in, the results to come in. If you don't come in today, I'm telling you, man, again, I don't know what it is. It seemed to me when I grew up in the 80s and the 90s that the counts were done efficiently and the counts were done fast and the people that were doing the counts were intelligent. I don't know whether it's because the whole planet's IQ has dropped and people are actually more stupid. This is why the counts have actually become slower. But back in the day when you were doing counts, they'd be done and all by the next day, man. It was great. Maybe there would be a delay if there was counts called or whatever, but it was never this long. Never this long. So this is ridiculous that it's still going on. If I don't get the results tonight, we should get them all by tomorrow, but I'll keep you informed. If anything else has gone on in Clonmel, obviously I'll look now. I'll throw up more videos there if there's anything else to put up. But I just want to thank you all for joining me, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. But I will be back very soon for the next stream. And so in the meantime, just look after yourselves and take care of yourselves and your families and stay safe, won't you? Because it is crazy. It is crazy out there. And I didn't even actually get into the spoiled ballots either, because Jojo was just brought up about the void ballot. But they did in one constituency alone in Tala, apparently most of them were spoiled votes. And you know, again, another thing that I called for, now there could be something dodgy going on there, but there always has been a problem with the Irish electorate, that there's not enough information when it comes to voting and how they vote on their ballots and stuff like that. So I think the nationalist movement, again, this is another thing they should be doing. They should be educating the Irish people out there on how to vote, how to register, and what to actually put down on a voting card or a ballot when the votes come up. Do you know what I mean? Because there seems to be still confusion out there, and a lot of people did spoil their votes on purpose, which I have to say to any Irish person that did that, I honestly believe that you're a fucking idiot and you should have actually still put someone down on the ballot. Don't be spoiling your vote. What's the point of getting up and wasting your time going down to the polling station if you're just going to act the bollocks? Just vote for someone, right? Just don't vote for the mainstream, obviously, but you should have voted for someone. You could have made a fucking difference. Anyway, we'll leave it there for now. Good night, folks. Have a good evening. And as I said, I will keep you updated on the community posts. And if there's any more videos, I will upload them for you. Until the next live stream, have a good evening. Enjoy yourselves. Look after your families and each other. And yeah, as I said, I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.